In winter 1992, the peaceful, Christmas-decorated town of Dayton, Ohio, was enjoying the last few days before the big holiday. Pop-up shops opened and customers bought presents at their leisure. Lights adorned the courthouse square, and the overall mood was very light, dreamy, wondrous. However, a nightmare awaited the town. Bored and looking for something exciting to do, a group of four teenagers and young adults who called themselves the Downtown Posse decided to enact a horrifying murder spree. Headed by 19-year-old Marvellus Keene, the Downtown Posse was looking for blood. Accompanying King was his 16-year-old girlfriend, Laura Taylor. The duo was also joined by DeMarcus Smith, 19 at the time, and his girlfriend Heather Matthews, 20. The spree began on Christmas Eve and lasted until December 26th, when a police sergeant spotted their stolen car and apprehended them. Over the course of their killing spree, 6 people were killed and 2 were left injured. Additionally, the tragedy devastated the victims' families and left an indelible mark on the city. Deemed never forgotten, the Dayton Christmas killings were regarded as the worst crime spree the city of Dayton had ever experienced. Now, let's begin. On Christmas Eve, the group began their spree. The group chose Joseph Wilkerson, a 34-year-old General Motors worker, as their first target. They believed Wilkerson could be charmed and seduced by Laura and Heather, with the intention of robbing him. The 2 girls called Wilkerson and told him that they would have sex with him. Wilkerson accepted the offer and invited the 2 into his home, not knowing the danger he put himself in. At his home, the 2 girls tied him to his headboard with electrical cords. While he was bound, the other members robbed the house and were able to find a .32 caliber Derringer. This gun was used to shoot Wilkerson in the chest, killing him. At her trial, Matthews stated that Taylor had used a .25 caliber gun as well to shoot Wilkerson, shooting him in the head. After killing Wilkerson, the group remained in his house, partying and using it as a base of operations. The group would stay here for the next 3 days. They also stole his car, using it to drive around and continue their murder spree. A woman using a payphone near a neighborhood market in West Dayton became the second victim of the group. Danita Gullette was an 18-year-old mother who had a 2-year-old daughter at home. While at the payphone, Gullette was robbed by the gang members, who ordered her to give them her belongings. Even though she complied, the group shot Gullette 5 times with no remorse. Miraculously, Danita survived the initial shooting, but she was sadly pronounced dead on the way to the hospital. From Danita's body, the group was able to get her shoes, backpack, coat, and 50 cents. Before the night of Christmas Eve ended, the group wanted to kill one more person. Their next target was Jeffrey Wright, Heather Matthews' ex-boyfriend. The group found Wright outside of his home, and DeMarcus Smith shot him 4 times in the legs. Fortunately for Wright, he was able to escape to a neighbor's house and survive the ordeal. After attempting to kill Wright, the group returned to Wilkerson's house, where they would stay the night. On Christmas Day, their massacre only continued. Their next victim was Richard Maddox, the former boyfriend of Laura Taylor. Taylor tricked Maddox into leaving his parents' house to go for a car ride in Maddox's car. Unknown to Maddox, the others, Keene, Smith, and Matthews, were tailing the group. As they drove, it soon became apparent to Maddox that the car behind them was trailing. Suspicious, Maddox stepped on the accelerator, but as he did so, Taylor pulled out the Derringer, put it against Maddox's right temple, and pulled the trigger. Taylor was able to jump out of the car before it crashed into a tree on Benton Avenue. While Taylor survived the crash and was able to get away, Maddox did not. The group would finish their day, and the next victim of the Downtown Posse would be murdered the following day, December 26th. The group went to the Shortstop Mini Market, a family-owned shop on West 5th Street. Laura Taylor walked in first, checking the place out. Behind the counter of the store was Sarah Abraham, a 38-year-old mother of 3. Following Taylor, DeMarcus Smith and Marvelous Keene entered. Keene shot Abraham twice in the head, with bullets similar to those used in the murder of Danita Gullette. Abraham was not the only person in the store, however. Jones Pettis was shot in the hand and stomach. While Pettis survived, Abraham succumbed to her injuries and died 5 days later. The gang's bountiful take from this senseless violence? $44. The four were not the only persons in the gang, however. They were only the ringleaders. Two others, Wendy Cottrell, a 16-year-old, and Marvin Washington, an 18-year-old, would be the final victims of the spree. Heather Matthews testified on the witness stand that the group viewed the two as witnesses who could implicate them. They viewed their only choice as to murder them in order to remain uncaught. After the murder of Sarah Abraham, the group picked up Wendy and Marvin and also purchased beer and wine. They drove until Marvelous Keene said they needed to use the restroom. He parked on a gravel yard on Rickley Drive, where Marvin and Wendy were pulled from the car and moved behind a large pile of dirt. There, the two were executed. The bodies of Wendy and Martin would not be discovered until the group was in custody. The group had been swapping plates and cars and were now in need of a new one. They went to a Salem Avenue gas station. There, a woman almost became the seventh victim of their spree, but when the group robbed her at gunpoint, she ran, surviving. The four took her Dodge Shadow and swapped license plates with the car they had abandoned. Dayton Police Sergeant John Huber was out driving when he spotted a suspicious vehicle, the Dodge Shadow the gang had stolen. Huber asked for a plate check to be done on the car, and when it didn't match, other deputies assisted in apprehending the crew. Not until later did Huber learn that his life was on the line when they had captured the gang. Huber learned that Laura Taylor had told Marvelous Keene to shoot him, which Keene did not follow through with. Marvelous Keene, leader of the downtown Posse, received the death penalty and was executed by lethal injection on July 21, 2009. It was reported that at his execution, when Keene was given a chance for last words, he said, "No, I have no words." All three other members received life sentences. Laura Taylor and Heather Matthews are serving their time at the Ohio Reformatory for Women, while DeMarcus Smith is at the Mansfield Correctional Institute. The Oxygen Network recently aired a documentary about the Dayton Christmas killings titled Six Slays of Christmas. The documentary contains interviews with law enforcement officials who worked the case, as well as Danita Gullette's sister, Rhonda Gullette. Additionally, a 2018 book entitled The Christmas Killings was written by officials involved in the case, including former police officer Steve Grismer, Detective Dennis Murphy, and Dr. Judith Monsieur. In 2021, Laura Taylor had the opportunity for parole due to new laws that affected life sentences for crimes committed by minors. This appears to have been denied as she remains incarcerated at Ohio Reformatory for Women. Her next parole eligibility date is in 2026. This group of four sick individuals committed horrendous crimes against 9 people, affecting not only them, but their families and their communities. I now ask for a moment of silence to remember them. Thank you. That now concludes a summary of the 1992 Christmas killings by the Downtown Posse. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. For more in-depth information, please be sure to check out the link to my articles on these cases. Until next time, stay safe and stay sleuthing. Lex Luthor out.